Kwak. And remember, life is too short to be drinking shitty beer. Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. The sun is over the yard arm, so it's time to drink some beer. Today I have got one of these. It is Kwak, the Belgian original, which is more famous for the glass that it's drunk in than the actual beer, I think, anyway. I don't know whether you've ever seen or known much about this beer, but I'll just explain a little bit about it. I'm actually going to be drinking it out of a chalice, but that's not the sort of glass that it should be drunk out of. If you've ever seen a yard of ale glass, it's like a very, very small yard of ale glass that is, if you go to Belgium and drink it, it's presented in like a wooden frame that you can hang it on. Now the reason for that, it's not a novelty or a gimmick that they've done that for. The glass was designed to be hung in the lamps of you know, like a horse and cart. That's why. So the driver, I'm not sure whether that's acceptable now, but he would have some of this stuff in that glass and he would plonk it into one of the lanterns. I think they had like it was like a ring, and he could drop it in there and, you know, take sips as he was driving along. But since then it's been quite popular in quite a few countries, not just Belgium. They used to sell this in the Wetherspoons out the bottle, but they stopped it when Britain voted to leave the EU. And of course Tim Martin, who runs Wetherspoons, is a big advocate of Brexit, so he stopped selling all the European beer, which I think is a real shame. If he'd replaced it with, you know, real good quality British craft beer, I'd have said genius, absolute masterstroke. But he hasn't. He's got some absolute fucking dog shit in the chillers. I'm not American. In the fridges that they have in that pub, in their pubs. Sorry. Anyway, let's get back to this beer. What is it? Well, it is a Belgian amber ale. It is 8.4%. So this is pretty fucking strong, right? And you got to treat this with a bit of respect. It's in a 330ml bottle, and there is the front of the label, and there is the back with all the spiel on it, and there's the cap with Kwak written on it. Now this is brewed in the Bosteels brewery, but getting back to this. It is all in Flemish, and I cannot understand a word, and there is some French in there, which I cannot speak either. Does it say the ingredients? I'm going to try and translate this from Flemish. Water, obvious. Gersten malt, which is, I think, malted barley. Suiker, that's sugar. Tarwe, no idea. Hop, pretty self-explanatory. And is it spices, yeah. So it is sounding like a typical Belgian beer. Now I'm not going to lie to you, I have tried this before. I tried it years ago in the Wetherspoons. You know, I went for a phase of sort of having the odd one here and there. This will finish you off. If you've had a skinful when you have one of these, that's the nail in the coffin. That's what I found anyway. Let's get it open and let's see what's going on in this bowl. Right, there's the cap off, and there's the cap. It is just saying Kwak in there on the nose out the bowl. Yeah, subdued spice, touch of banana and clove, The spice I'm getting is clove, a little bit of pepper, and something else as well that I can't quite nail. Like a Belgian spice. A Belgian spice. No such thing as a Belgian spice. Oh. Now, it could be ginger, I think. Because it's reminded me of a bottle of HP sauce, which does smell of ginger. And there's also, do you remember the Blandford Fly by the Badger Brewery? That's what that smelled like as well. So there's a touch of ginger in this, but let's get it into the glass and let's see what's going on. Now, as I say, this isn't the right glass. It should be put in a yard of ale glass and on a little wooden stand, not a true yard of ale glass, but like a miniature yard of ale glass with the big bowl at the bottom and the long neck. Maybe I should put it in a vice beer glass, but it's too late for that now. Is it too late? I'll tell you what. Do you know what? That's probably better if I put it in that. Right, this is a Schneider Weiss glass. It's not going to fill this glass, I don't think, but this is more, or slightly more true to what the glass that it should be drunk out of is like. So I'm going to put it in there anyway. I haven't cleaned this glass in a while, so it could be dirty. Yeah, and there's some bubbles clinging to the side. Look at the carbonation on that. And as I say, it is an amber beer. And that is very amber, but the carbonation is going mental on that. The head is like a 2.5 finger head, slightly off-white, foamy, big bubbled head on that, out the glass, on the nose. It's like a creamy banana, touch of clove, a little touch of spice, like that ginger as well is coming through again. But it smells, actually, there's a touch of orange peel in that as well, I think. Let's get it down the hatch and let's see what's going on. Cheers. Wow, lots of malt in that. There's biscuit malt on the end, and there is caramel and toffee malt on that too. There's spirit alcohol in that, I can definitely get that, but none of the huge spice that I was smelling on the aroma. It's really unusual. The aroma is completely different to what it tastes like. The malts dominate on this. And do you know what it's reminded me of? It's reminded me slightly of that Golden Pride, that Fuller's Golden Pride, with the big caramel and toffee malt and the spirit alcohol running through it as well. And this is quite hefty. This is an 8.4. It's really malt heavy. Really malt heavy. It's like you drink it and you get huge caramel malt initially and spirit alcohol. And you swallow, and then the toffee malt, there's a little bit of toffee malt, and then once it goes down, then you get your biscuit malt after that. But there's no real spice. I mean, if I'd done a blindfold test on this, I'd think this was a British beer, a British strong ale. But as I'm drinking, I'm smelling the spice. I can definitely smell spice on that. But the malt is so dominant in this, and I'm not getting the malt on the aroma, which is really confusing. I'm not getting the spirit alcohol on there either. Wow. well, that's a first for me. A beer that tastes of something but doesn't smell anything like it tastes. As I say, this is the nearest I can get to the glass. Normally the glass has got like a bowl at the bottom, and the trick is at the end not to get it all down your shirt as you're drinking it. You know, I don't know if you've ever done a yard of ale before, but if you don't drink a yard of ale properly, it'll go all over you. The trick is to keep twisting it and twisting it as you're drinking, and take small sips and keep twisting, but keep it horizontal. And yeah, that's what that's like. So people sort of drink it. There's another thing about the glass as well, where, and somebody told me this is where the name came from, but obviously it isn't, but they were saying when you put the glass down, a little bit would splash up and sometimes hit you in the face or hit you in the eye, and it would make like a quack type noise. Absolute bullshit. But getting back to the beer, I have to say it tastes very British. It tastes British but smells Belgian. So I'm tasting that and I'm thinking strong ale. The nearest I can compare it to is the Golden Pride by Fuller's, but it's not identical, you know. That's more fruity. This isn't fruity, this is more caramel heavy. Toffee, caramel, and a bit of biscuit malt on the arse end of it, and some spirit alcohol running through it. That's the best way I can describe it. But as I'm drinking, I'm getting spice, and I'm getting clove, and I'm getting banana, which is obviously coming from the yeast, but the malts are dominating the flavour as you're drinking it. And it's really confusing, but I do like it. And as I say, I have drunk this stuff before, and it's really good. But you've got to take it. You've got to take it easy with this stuff. And I'm fucking necking this stuff now. I shouldn't really be drinking it as quick as I am, because this should be savoured. It's not one of them ones to get it down your neck. You know what I mean? Yeah, and that's cold. And it's come out the fridge, and I'm still getting all them flavours. As that warms up, I'm sure there'll be other flavours coming through. And I'm getting, and it is warming up, but I am getting a little touch of the spice on it now, but it's not the dominant flavour. And as I say, most of the time I've drunk this before, this has always come out of the fridge and it's been cold. Not many people drank that when it was in the Wetherspoons, but I loved it. That, and the two best Belgians they did was the Le Chouffe and Kwak, and they stopped doing them when they, you know, in 2016 when they got the Brexit vote, which was a real shame. That's one of the downsides of Brexit, I think. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of upsides, but I'm not going into politics now. But there you go. There you go, Lois. The verdict on this is, do not be lulled into a false sense of security. What you're sniffing is not what you're going to get in the taste. I like it. It reminds me of a British ale. It's malt heavy. The malts dominate on this. The alarm bells did ring with the sugar that was in there, but I'm not really getting that sweet, sickly taste that you sometimes get from them beers that have got added sugar. This has got spirit alcohol, big malt in it, and I wouldn't say it's the barley wine, but if you like barley wine, you will like this. This is like barley wine light, if you can imagine that. So what would I give it? As I say, no complaints on the taste. That's really nice. I would give that an 8 out of 10. It's that good. Very nice. I know it's got all sorts of dodginess added into it with the sugar and stuff, but it tastes good. And as I always say, I don't care who brews it, what's in there. If it tastes good, it tastes good. And that tastes good. And it's 8 out of 10, and I'd recommend it. And as I always say, beer is working class champagne.